What if the most potent plant food isn't found in a bottle but in something you'd normally throw away? I took on the ultimate gardening experiment, feeding all my plants an unusual homemade fermented fruit fertilizer. Get ready to see the before and after like never before, as I unveil the surprising impact this unique method had on every single one of them. When I first heard about fermented fruit fertilizer, I'll be honest, I was skeptical. The concept seemed almost too simple to be effective. Fermented fruit juice, or FFJ as it's known in natural farming circles, is essentially liquid gold created from fruit scraps that would otherwise end up in your compost bin or trash. This ancient Korean natural farming technique involves fermenting fresh fruit with brown sugar to create a nutrient-rich concentrate that plants absolutely love. The process harnesses the power of beneficial microorganisms to break down fruit sugars and cellular structures, releasing essential nutrients like potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and a host of micronutrients in forms that plants can readily absorb. What makes FFJ particularly special is its high potassium content, crucial for flower and fruit development, root strength, and overall plant resilience. But beyond the science, what really caught my attention were the glowing testimonials from gardeners worldwide who swore by this method. My initial skepticism quickly turned into curiosity, and curiosity evolved into a full-scale experiment. I decided to go all in, testing this fermented fruit fertilizer on my entire plant collection to see if the hype matched reality. The beauty of this method lies in its accessibility. You don't need expensive equipment or hard-to-find ingredients. Simply gather overripe fruits or fruit scraps, mix them with brown sugar in a 1-to-1 ratio by weight, pack them into a clean jar, and let fermentation work its magic for about 7 to 14 days. The result is a concentrated liquid fertilizer that costs just pennies to make and stores for months when properly prepared. To ensure comprehensive results, I selected a diverse range of plants representing different categories and growth requirements. My test subjects included delicate indoor ornamentals like pothos and snake plants, demanding houseplants such as fiddle-leaf figs and Monstera deliciosa, flowering plants including geraniums and petunias, productive vegetables like tomatoes and peppers, and even some outdoor perennials and fruit trees. This variety would give me insights into how different plant types respond to fermented fruit fertilizer across various growing conditions and nutritional needs. Before beginning the experiment, I meticulously documented each plant's current state. I measured heights, counted leaves and branches, photographed overall appearance, and noted any existing issues like yellowing leaves, slow growth, or pest problems. This baseline documentation was crucial for accurately assessing the fertilizer's impact later. I also ensured all plants were in similar-sized containers with the same potting mix, received identical watering schedules, and were positioned in comparable light conditions to minimize variables that could skew results. The application method I developed was both systematic and gentle. I diluted my homemade FFJ concentrate at a ratio of 1 to 500 with water, creating a mild solution that wouldn't shock sensitive plants. Every 2 weeks, I applied this mixture as both a soil drench and foliar spray during early morning hours when stomata are most receptive. I maintained detailed logs of application dates, weather conditions, and immediate plant responses. To ensure scientific integrity, I also maintained a control group of identical plants that received only water and standard organic fertilizer, allowing for direct comparison of results. Within just 2 weeks of the first application, I began noticing subtle but encouraging changes. The most responsive plants were surprisingly my leafy greens and herbs. The basil plants showed noticeably darker, more lustrous foliage, while my lettuce exhibited accelerated growth rates compared to the control group. Indoor plants like pothos began producing longer, more robust vines with larger leaves, and even my notoriously slow-growing snake plants started showing new growth shoots. One concern I had anticipated was odor, given that we're essentially feeding plants fermented fruit juice. However, when properly diluted, the FFJ solution has only a mild, slightly sweet scent that dissipates quickly after application. I did notice increased soil biological activity. Earthworms seemed more abundant in containers receiving FFJ treatment, and the soil itself appeared more vibrant and alive. Regarding pest attraction, which many gardeners worry about with organic fertilizers, I actually observed fewer pest issues on treated plants, possibly due to the stronger, healthier plant immune systems that FFJ seemed to promote. The comparison with my control group became increasingly evident as weeks progressed. While control plants maintained steady but unremarkable growth, FFJ-treated plants displayed enhanced vigor, deeper green coloration, and what I can only describe as an overall more robust appearance. The difference was subtle at first but became undeniably clear as the experiment continued. Even my most challenging plants, like the temperamental fiddle leaf fig that had been struggling with leaf drop, began stabilizing and producing new growth. After 8 weeks of consistent FFJ application, the results were nothing short of remarkable across most plant categories. My vegetable plants showed the most dramatic improvements. Tomato plants treated with fermented fruit fertilizer produced 40% more fruit than control plants, with noticeably sweeter flavor and firmer texture. Pepper plants developed stronger branching structures and yielded peppers with thicker walls and more vibrant colors. The difference was so pronounced that even my neighbors began asking about my secret weapon. Indoor ornamental plants responded beautifully, though more subtly. Pothos vines grew about 60% longer than control plants, with leaves that were consistently larger and more variegated. My Monstera deliciosa produced 3 new fenestrated leaves during the test period compared to just 1 on the control plant, and honestly, the fenestrations themselves were more intricate and pronounced. Snake plants, which are typically slow growers, really surprised me by producing multiple new shoots and achieving heights about 25% greater than their untreated counterparts. However, not every plant responded equally well to FFJ treatment. My azaleas and blueberries, which definitely prefer acidic conditions, showed minimal improvement and occasionally displayed slight leaf yellowing, suggesting that FFJ's nutrient profile might not suit acid-loving plants optimally. Succulents and cacti also showed mixed results. While some species like jade plants thrived, others seemed stressed by the regular moisture applications required for FFJ feeding. These results taught me that, while fermented fruit fertilizer is remarkably versatile, it's not universally perfect for every plant type. The most stunning transformations occurred in my flowering plants. Geraniums produced blooms that were about 30% larger with more intense colors, while petunias created cascading displays of flowers that lasted significantly longer than previous seasons. My fruit trees, though they require longer observation periods, began showing improved leaf density and early signs of increased bud formation for next season's harvest. The visual evidence was honestly overwhelming. Side-by-side photographs revealed plants that looked like they had received professional greenhouse care versus those maintaining merely adequate health. After this extensive experiment, I can confidently say that fermented fruit fertilizer deserves a place in most gardeners' arsenals, but with some important caveats. The greatest benefits really appear in fast-growing plants with high nutrient demands, particularly vegetables, herbs, and those vigorous ornamentals. FFJ, honestly, excels as a supplement to, rather than a replacement for, balanced nutrition programs. Its high potassium content makes it especially valuable during flowering and fruiting stages, and the beneficial microorganisms it introduces help enhance soil biology and plant immunity. For beginners, FFJ offers an excellent introduction to organic gardening principles without overwhelming complexity or expense. The ingredients are, really easy to find, the process is forgiving, and the results provide tangible feedback about plant nutrition. Experienced gardeners will appreciate FFJ's ability to fine-tune plant performance and provide targeted nutrition during those critical growth phases. However, gardeners growing primarily acid-loving plants or those with limited time for regular applications might find traditional slow-release organic fertilizers more suitable. The environmental benefits honestly can't be overstated. By converting fruit scraps into plant nutrition, we're closing the loop on organic waste while reducing dependence on synthetic fertilizers. The cost-effectiveness is pretty remarkable too. A year's supply of FFJ concentrate can be produced for under $5. Compared to hundreds spent on commercial fertilizers. For urban gardeners or those with limited storage space, FFJ's concentrated nature and long shelf life make it incredibly practical. My garden has never looked healthier, and I'm continuing to use fermented fruit fertilizer as a cornerstone of my plant nutrition strategy. The combination of proven results, environmental sustainability, and economic sense makes FFJ an easy recommendation for gardeners ready to embrace natural growing methods. Whether you're nurturing just a few houseplants or managing an extensive vegetable garden, this ancient technique offers modern solutions to contemporary growing challenges. Ready to transform your garden with fermented fruit fertilizer? Try this method with your own plants and share your results in the comments below. I'd honestly love to see how FFJ works in your unique growing conditions. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more innovative, science-backed growing techniques that'll take your gardening game to the next level. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries, and share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to unlock their plants' true potential. Your garden revolution starts now.